It's a mess, but it's a lovable mess. Are those birds flying through ocean waves?
It's time to play some stuff!
Welcome to MultimediaJay's relaxing vistas of ocean waves, filled with glitchy birds flying through ocean waves without getting wet. Or, in layman's terms, welcome to the Crew 2! It's a mess, but it is a lovable mess. What's up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, checking out a game that has received mixed reviews, and to put it nicely, a little bit of sequelitis, a little bit of bugs here and there, and a little bit of this was one heck of an ambitious project, and Ivory Tower probably bit off more than they could chew with this one. Welcome, everybody, to the Crew 2, the game where you can change from a boat to a plane to a car with just a tilt of the thumbstick. And sometimes you splash in the ocean because you do something like this, or something glitches out when you go to change from boat to plane and you stop for whatever reason. Let's see if I can get it to happen. Nope, not that time. Let me guess. When I'm trying to do that stuff on purpose, it's not gonna happen.
Epic fail.
So, we have ourselves a case of sequelitis here on this sandbox drive around and do stuff game known as The Crew. Far beyond a spiritual successor at this point, this game is definitely a spiritual descendant of Test Drive Unlimited 2, but this time there's boats and planes! My curiosity's got the better of me when I picked this game up. There is still plenty of stuff for the developers to work on, but for now it's a playable, lovable mess. For example, let's see if we can get this thing to screw up again. Oh yeah, drop a speedboat that looks like a fishing lure from way up in the air. Now, on calmer waters this time. So, I'm gonna cruise along on my speedboat and change into a plane. And that happens!
Epic fail.
Yeah, I basically call that splashing taking off, because that's something, no matter how fast you're going, there's a bug where you'll come to a complete stop and your plane will just splash in the ocean, and then you'll respawn in the air. Like I said, a lovable mess. But if you like flying around and messing around in Grand Theft Auto, this type of game can still be fun. Even if this early in the game's life cycle, it's still a matter of creating your own fun. Like flying sideways through trees and trying not to hit any of them. Oops. And having something like that not destroy your plane, but something like that force you to respawn. Yeah. Oops, I went into photo mode by mistake. In case I want to take a screenshot, whatever. That actually would have been a pretty good screenshot. Let's see here. I meant to use, there. I meant to yaw down to tree level and then start doing... There are points for close calls if you can weave between trees and buildings and whatnot. I must be the worst pilot in the world, but this is actually a stunt plane. There's another class of planes that are built more for speed than maneuverability, and those are the ones used in the air races. But you just want to fly around and be a doofus, pilot wing style, then this game definitely lets you do that. Whee! I do like the water textures, though. This is virtual Miami, close to your player home in this game. There's a DLC pack. I think the season pass gives you an additional home. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point later on there was some kind of way to get additional places to live in this game, similar to other games of its type. Speedboat! This plane maxes out at 182 miles per hour, but if I switch over to this Union Jack-ish plane here, you'll see it. Yeah, see? I have custom paint jobs on all the vehicles. Now this, this goes up a little bit more, but I don't have the plane leveled up as much. This is a racing plane. It's made for speed, and the fastest planes go closer to 400 miles an hour. But yeah, I've got custom paint jobs on most of all the vehicles that I have. The maneuverability of this plane isn't as... Whoa! It's not as maneuverable as a stunt plane, but it's faster. And that's the pattern here. We zoom all the way out to the map. I'll show you the headquarters. Actually, no. Let's go into the go to the activities. So you see 4 different colors here that correspond to the 4 different factions in the game. So you have street racing, off-road, freestyle, and pro racing. So all the stuff underneath the names is the various types of vehicles and events that you can take place in. Street racing is exactly what it sounds like. It's mostly about cars and tricking out cars that are more for driving around on the roads. Off-road, well, is off-road. Yeah, you've got your various types of dirt and raid vehicles, and then motocross and hovercrafts are part of that too, recent addition to the game. Freestyle is about having fun and goofing around, so you have your stunt planes, your more agile jet sprint boats that are easier to whip around corners, but they're slower, and of course you have monster trucks as well. And then you have pro racing, which is basically anything that's actually made to be fast and race. So powerboat is the faster of the boats that are less maneuverable, so speed boats. Touring car is, I think, like NASCAR-ish type stuff and whatnot, but it's actual race cars. Alpha GP, Formula 1 type stuff, and then air race, which was the faster planes. Alright, enough of that menu action there. I want my stunt plane back. It may be slower, but it sure zips around like nobody's business. Whee! Alright, let's do an event here. Just like the original Crew, as you progress through the game, more events unlock. The big difference between this and Crew 1 is that there's no overarching Fast and Furious type storyline. Whereas last time you were trying to join a street racing gang or whatever it was, the 510s, this time around you're basically just this racing nobody who wants to become a legend. And that's what the social media looking things up in the corner are all about. The follower count with that, what looks like a red MySpace icon, is basically your followers or your fame in this game, and then you got your virtual currency and your cash shop currency. So I'm up to icon level 6. You start out as basically a nobody and you work your way through the levels. As you level up, you unlock new disciplines, which is new events that you can go to. And so, of course, you have a map that's zoomable and things like that, and you can go to headquarters. I still don't have a rally car for dirt tracks yet, but let's actually do an event here. Let's go to the National Mall and do some around the virtual Washington D.C. and do some stunts. I should probably mention before we get to any racing parts of the game that the difficulty is adaptive, aka rubber banding on the races. So that way you never lap anybody or blow everybody away, but at the same time, if you get overtaken, you can catch up to the lead cars pretty quickly. Alright. Stunt Plane! The event where I made all kinds of money back that let me buy all my cars. I actually went into the plane part of the game first instead of cars. So you have your list of stunts to do, and you can... I'm only doing basic stuff here, so I'm not doing anything too fancy. I haven't gone up to the higher difficulty levels yet. But once you complete the checklist, you get to do other stuff, do your own freestyle stuff for 20 seconds. So I can do a little nosedive here. Let's do zip over 90 degrees. Do like a delayed hesitation roll is what it's called. And let's try a Cobra. I think you gotta spin twice and then go up in the air. I don't know. I'm finding out new moves for this game. I'm finding out new moves in the stunt planes usually by accident, because I'm not too familiar with stunt planes. Alright, so we gotta do a loop. And as you pull off tricks, the points go up, and you only have so long to get so many points. Alright, we gotta do an outside loop now, so you gotta get some altitude. Now I'm holding down the X button on the controller to enable extreme mode, which lets the plane whip around a lot more, at the expense of making it a little less stable, which doesn't work well with things like loops. Woo! Alright, it's freestyle time, so let's see. Not exactly freestyle, more like Launchpad McQuack there. There's another glitch with the game. Flying through trees sideways can count as an under bridge. Alright, now I gotta fly as low as possible. Oh, flying sideways, knife flight gets you something. It's also impossible to stall out these planes, too, so that's another way in which this game is... Well, that wasn't a close call. That needs to be worked on, too. Now, in real... I gotta get another close call, darn it. Like I said, this game is a mess, but it's a lovable mess. For... Some people may even consider it so bad it's good, but Crew 1, I think, was a lot more fleshed out. But Crew 1 actually took a little bit of time to get to that stage. I can't get the plane sideways quickly enough to get my last... Somehow I got my last close call. Hey, let's fly through the power lines while we're at it. Yeah. And that's why there's the warning when you first start the game that says, the way these vehicles handle is not like it handles in real life. Do not drive like this in real life. Hey, I turned the smoke on by accident. Oh, look, it's the virtual Pentagon. Alright, so we only got 4 seconds left, so we're not going to get very many more points. So we did win the event. So if you win the event, you get points, you get virtual currency, and in many cases, you get upgrades to whatever you happen to be driving or flying at the time. Bada bing. And much like World of Warcraft, if by chance I happen to miss those upgrades, they would be mailed to my in-game mailbox, which I can go to any of the headquarters in order to see. So, woohoo! Up to 183 miles an hour top speed. So it is still a stunt plane. It is still slower. It is still slower than the racing planes. But it's a heck of a lot of fun. Just do loops and stuff. Alright, let's actually land and do a ground event somewhere. If we head out to choppier waters with a jet sprint boat, we can show you yet another one of the things that has to be worked out. Water clips through the boat. Look at that. How come my feet are all wet from driving this itty-bitty boat out in the choppy ocean waves? Actually, if you want some jump credit, grab a hovercraft. It helps if I actually go the right way. There it is. Hovercrafts are so drifty and jumpy that you can get up to maximum jump credit and new followers pretty easily. Let's change the view, see if that moves the number. Nope. Depends on the condition of the waves. Oh, there we go. See max jump down to the bottom? Slippy and slidey. There's drift cars, and I guess with the hovercrafts, there's drift boats. Let's go do a jet sprint event. Main Highlands here. Now, a lot of these events... This is the time changer event that changes the time of day. Let's put the technical thing on here, because I'll bet any money Monolith's gonna struggle with this course. Lots of light sources. So the jet sprint boats whip around all over the place, as opposed to the power boats that are faster. So, most races usually have checkpoints and things like that. Sometimes you're racing against the clock and doing badly like what I am right now, and sometimes you're racing against other racers. I mostly came to this course because I've seen I've seen Monolith have a lot of problems.
Snapping turtles move faster than you're going right now.
Yeah, whatever, freestyle, dude. Trying to record a YouTube video here, darn it. I got the technical array on here. By the way, this is my new layout for technical arrays for these types of videos, is that I've got the graphics card information up top, the temperature, the percent utilization, the video RAM that's being used, so this game would be pretty well served with a 3 gig card, as well as the speed that it's currently running at. Then the same goes for the processor, the 6700, which is kind of snoring at this game. Temperature, utilization, the speed it's running at, and how much wattage it's drawing. Monolith is next to the RAM usage. For any of you people that have the name of the system, in this case Monolith, is next to the RAM usage. For those of you people that are curious about how much RAM... Oops! Return to track. That's why you shouldn't drive distracted, folks. I am so gonna lose this because I'm trying to talk at the same time. Anyways, for those of you that are curious about 8 gigs of RAM versus 16 or more gigs of RAM, the real-time RAM usage of the system is up there, and then of course we have the frame rates and the frame times, as well as what version of DirectX the game is using. I'm making this standard across all of my systems, so when I record a gaming video, you can see which system it is, and you can see what system it is, see what the hardware is, and compare everything, because it's all going to be the same. I guess you could say it's a Geek House 5S kind of thing. Alright, we're a second ahead. One thing you can do with the boats is you can pull back on the stick to raise the nose in the air for some extra speed, and then push it down to dig the nose into the water for some extra maneuverability. So see, now we've turned green. I think we might actually be getting ahead of things now. Of course, it helps to actually concentrate on the game. Everything has nitro. I think the boats have extreme mode too. There's a percentage thing up top, but it's being covered up by my technical array. It takes shortcuts across the grass. I'm guessing with a real boat that would screw up the propeller or something. Yeah, a simulation this ain't. 252 versus 255 target time, so we won the event. We'll get the higher prize, and we will also get an upgrade for the Jet Sprint boat, which needs upgrades because my Jet Sprint boat is a lower performance level than my power boat. Oh, come on! Couldn't let me get my loot before going to the time change sequence. And what changed anyways? Did we go from sunrise back to night? Or night back to sunrise? Yeah. So here's the Jet Sprint performance boat isn't even at 100 yet. What's my power boat performance level at? Yeah, see, 112 for the fishing lure boat.
3, 2.
And now, let's actually do a race in the street racing category to round everything out here. This is where we'll probably see the rubber banding that this game is known for in action.
Car just woke up in a big way.
This is where we get to another thing that I think needs to be fixed in this game. If I go to the internal view, the sound barely changes, like you're driving with the windows down. Not so sure about that. Street racing is basically what I'm the worst at. Not just because of that, but because I've gotten so into the whole boats and planes thing. I've gotten so into the boats and planes part of the game that I've barely done anything with the cars, despite the previous crew game being more of a car game. So, I haven't been doing a lot of... Why'd that get louder? Because I drove under the bridge? So I haven't been doing as many car events as I have boat and plane events. Okay, that time it didn't get louder. Yeah, this game needs some work, as I'm 5 seconds behind everybody else. People call it rubber banding, but I think it's adaptive difficulty to keep the game at least a little bit challenging. And coming to this game from Guild Wars 2, I definitely should know a thing or two about that. Even if I'm stumbling along in last place in some barely upgraded Audi. Oh yeah. I actually have better off-road cars than street cars right now. So little wonder I'm doing so terribly at this. Plus, with some of these street races, you gotta get used to the courses. And I have not done that with this, because I've barely done any street racing or car events. I guess I could say off-roading is a truck event, but... Let's try taking a jump. Well, that took me up to 3rd place. And dropped me back to 4th.
Trell, is a loadout like that street legal?
None of this is street legal, you. That's kind of the point. Hard to make people want to go legit when it means giving up something like this.
There is a story, too, to all the factions as well. You'll see that when you get into the game. I don't think I'm going to win this one. I don't even think an e-brake turn will save my sorry you-know-what. You noob! Go back to playing Burnout Paradise! This is supposed to be virtual Los Angeles, so that's why I might remind some of you folks of San Andreas. The original San Andreas, not the one in GTA 5. Although if scenery like this is in GTA 5 too, then what can I say? It'd probably be better if I weren't in the water all the time. I'm so used to boat events. Oops! That's another thing that needs to go into this game. There's no player versus player racing. These are all bots. So I imagine there's probably going to be quite a bit of development on this game, and I'm just an early adopter at this point. Although there is enough fun here to try and... No, not trying, but there is enough fun in this game to get me to basically not really think too much about how this game is beta on release. Man, this car handles really poorly. I thought it would have better handling because it's four-wheel drive, or at least the Audi Quattros are four-wheel drive in real life. Let's take my shortcut again. Whee! Come on, Nitro. Second place! Was the goal? Ah, the goal is only to get into the top 3. Cool. Well, for once, second place isn't the first loser. Alright, let's wrap this all up. Murica Ford Focus time. Let's get out of here. Is that an upgrade? Woo! Those are street race parts, right? I was wondering where my upgrade went. Oh yeah, I'll put those in the truck later. Do I really want to put up with traffic? Nah. And there you have it, folks. A general introduction to the Crew 2 as we finish off with some nice views of the city lights at night here in the virtual Los Angeles in this game. This game definitely has some potential, but in terms of what it is right now, as of when I'm recording this game, it is most certainly a lovable mess. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by, and game on!
Want to support the wackiness? Visit patreon.com/MultimediaJay.